Hello and welcome back for day 4 of our series called The Basics. Yesterday we talked about, how can I live my life for God? And today we have an equally as good Bible study topic for us. So it's called, How Can I Help Others? Now, just like I know as a Christian, we are called to help others, not to live selfishly, but to actually help other people. So I've got some verses to read out of Matthew chapter 20, and we're going to look at verses 25 through 28. Let's go to the Lord in His Word. It says this, "But Jesus called them to Himself," that's His disciples, "and said, 'You know that the rulers of the Gentiles lord it over them, and those who are great exercise authority over them. Yet it shall not be so among you. But whoever desires to become great among you, let him be your servant. And whoever desires to be first among you, let him be your slave. Just as the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve and give his life a ransom for many.'" What in the world is Jesus saying there? Jesus is saying it's not about you. Just as Jesus came to be a servant and a servant leader, that's what we're all called to be. So we cannot go through this life expecting to lord over people and have people working for us, right? It's our job as the Christian to submit ourselves in an act of servanthood and serve other people. Think about when Jesus was at the Last Supper, observing the Passover with his disciples. One of the strangest things he chose to do at that time, that was his last meal, was to get down on the ground and wash their dirty feet. That was normally a role for a slave or a servant. The least one in the house would do such a dirty task, and Jesus did that for them. Think about it, God washing your feet. And that's what He did. He calls us to be servants. In Galatians chapter 5, verses 22 through 23, and remember, we're talking here about how can I help others. So the first thing is be a servant. The second thing, we need to read this, "But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long-suffering, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. Against such there is no law." So you want to know how you can help other people? You need to walk in the fruit of the Spirit. I'm going to read them again. The fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long-suffering, that's like painful patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Against such there is no law. So when you're interacting with people, if you're doing those things, you are not doing anything wrong in God's eyes. And notice where it starts. It starts with love, joy, and peace, and patience. Then it moves on to kindness and goodness and being faithful and gentle and under control. Like the King James uses the word temperance, which I like. That word elicits like a metalsmith taking a sword and bending it over his knee. Like God's the metalsmith and we're the sword, and He's shaping us and bending us to His will. So we're not under our own compulsions all the time. But you want to know how you can live a life to help others. Number one, you got to be willing to serve. And number two, you have to walk in the Spirit. And those things right there that were listed, those are called the fruit of the Spirit. Another word for fruit is the evidences that you have the Holy Spirit. So if you look at your life and you say, "I'm not loving, I don't have joy, I don't have peace, I don't have long suffering, I'm not kind, I'm not good, I'm not faithful, I'm not gentle, I'm out of control," there may be an issue with your salvation, right? Because in my experience, Christian people, we exude those things. And in the moments where we don't, we feel conviction, we confess that to God, and we ask for forgiveness. Thank you so much for joining me today. You want to know how you can help others, serve them, and be loving and kind, and be filled with the Holy Spirit when you're around people, and they will be drawn to God. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you come back for day 5 of our series tomorrow. Have a blessed day.
Subscribe for more.